push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Thursday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. Hi, my name's DJ. It's nice to be joined by you at home or wherever. Here we go again. Wherever you are in the world, it's nice to have you with us. Thanks for stopping by. We got a great show for you. Obviously, I feel like Mike Tomlin. Obviously, we have the On This Day in Sports History for you, our Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark to wrap up the show. And in between, we have a whole lot of South Range football with the head ball coach, my good friend, Mr. Dan Yeagley. That is on the show today. We'll talk a little bit about other stuff, including the power rankings, which I realize we haven't talked about to this point this week. And there's a lot of kind of touch and go about these power rankings. I want to discuss it with you, see what you think, who you think should be in, who you think should be out, and all of that good stuff as we head towards Friday football tomorrow night. No games on the network from a football standpoint tonight like we had last week with Wellsville. So we'll check it out, see how things go, and maybe look at some potential upsets for this week, some potential movers and shakers that I think can make or break the power rankings for week 4 coming up on Monday. Before we do anything, it's On This Day in Sports History. Roll. So a little bit of an interesting one. Notice I'm wearing the Buffalo Bills Josh Allen jersey. I'm a big Josh Allen fan. I really like Josh Allen. Let's just be honest. I'm a fan of quarterbacks, leaders in general. You can call me front runner. You can call me whatever you want. I'm a Steelers fan through and through. Steelers play the Bills. I'm rooting for the Steelers all day long. But I like Josh Allen. I like his makeup. I like what he is, small school guy coming out and absolutely killing it. And oh, by the way, he's my fantasy quarterback. I caught the cough midway through. That was pretty impressive. Josh Allen, my fantasy quarterback, so I will support him to the edge of the earth here tonight. But on this day in sports history, September 8th, 1991. You ready for this? NFL's Buffalo Bill quarterback Jim Kelly, the legendary Jim Kelly, passes for 6 touchdowns against my Pittsburgh Steelers in a 52-34 victory. 1991, I was in first grade, and the Steelers, that was when I really started appreciating the Steelers and started becoming a Steeler fan, cutting Steeler jerseys. I remember DJ Johnson, number 44, out of construction paper and piecing them together. And that was my first ever Steelers, legit, fandom. Didn't have anything other than that DJ Johnson, number 44 jersey that I became infatuated with the Steelers at such a young age. And here I am wearing a Bills jersey, however many years later, 30 some years later. So, yeah. So, yeah, the reason I brought that up is the Bills play the Rams tonight. It's the opening night. It's kickoff night. You can watch it on 21 WFMJ, our partners. Excited for it. Football night in America. I am a huge pro football fanatic. I like college football. It's okay, but it doesn't get my juices flowing. My juices are flowing. It put me in the cooker because I am ready to go. NFL gets me going. I am excited, more excited for it probably next year or at the end of this year, January 1st, give or take a day. I'm excited for it. NFL starts tonight, and I could not be more ready, even though I don't think my team's going to do much in the way of anything. I mean, they could make the playoffs again. I just hope they go, over 500. But you never know. That's why the NFL is so great. You can do some special things. So let's get to, without further ado, my good friend, Mr. Dan Yeagley. Let's set this up. The South Range Raiders are 3-0 to this point. Blow through their non-conference schedule. Springfield win. University School win on the road. And then Canton Central Catholic win on the road last week. They return home to take on Struthers this week. And I had a chance to catch up with the head ball coach himself late last night and talk to him about all the things before and present and hopefully coming in the future. Here he is. Hi, everybody. DJ Yeagley with you, and it's my favorite time of the week. We've missed a couple weeks, and that's on me, but we're back and better than ever. It is Coach's Corner with Dan Yeagley of the South Range Raiders. Coach, 1, 2, 3-0 over 3 excellent opponents. You guys always put a great non-conference schedule together. To be sitting 3-0 at this point has to make you at least happy and certainly humble, knowing the 3 teams that are lying in your wake.
We always talk about different parts of the season, and the non-league season is always very important because it prepares you for league play. And if you do well in those 2 parts, then you get to go on to the third part. But I'm very proud of these kids. They fought through a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different teams, a lot of different kinds of teams per se. Last week was Canton Central Catholic, and they're a good quarterback. The week before was University School, starting at 5:00, traveling up there. Bigger school, D3 school. And then, you got your rival week 1 that you always try to win, and you always try to get your very best game for them. And because they're going to bring their best game. And, we get those 3 coming out of them 3-0. It's pretty special because you beat 3 quality opponents, 3 teams that get after it on the football field and are very well coached and some great players. And, like I said, I'm very proud of our kids and the way they performed because we saw a lot of different types of players and games and offenses and defenses through those 3 weeks. And I think it really prepared us now for going into league play this week.
I think naturally when you talk about that week 1 performance against Springfield, I think it kind of shocked everybody to see how good South Range is again. And they want to say how far Springfield's fallen off. I don't think that's the case. I think we're going to learn it this week and moving forward the MVAC. However, you've always been an advocate for learning your kids and what they can do on the road. And those were 2 long road trips. You take one to Cleveland essentially, and the next one to Canton. What did you learn about this year's team on the road?
Well, you never know. You get off of a bus. You travel that distance. You get off of a bus. When we went up to Cleveland, up to University School 2 weeks ago, week 2, and it was we had to take charter buses, which was very nice, by the way. Thank you, South Range, for making that happen. We had to leave at 1:00. School was still in, and they had to have the buses there to take the rest of the kids home, so they couldn't spare some extra buses. We just don't have them. So we got up there, and it was different, never been there before, and great atmosphere though. I mean, it's a little hidden gem back in the woods, and it was very nice back in there. Their first home game, they had a nice crowd, great team, very well coached. Their coach does a super job, and it was tough, and it was curious to see, okay, how do we travel? How do we get off the bus? And the kids got off the bus and performed great. Like I said, very proud of how they performed that week 2. And then we had to go to Canton Central, which we've been there a few times. And me personally been there quite a few times through playoff games and everything else in the past. And another great atmosphere. You get the little Kleinfelder Stadium, and what a great coach he was or is. He's not coaching now, but a great man and a great coach, and what a program he's built there. And Coach Lindersmith just does a super job too. And it's tough. They got off the bus little loose, a little looser than what I liked. And but you know what? They turned it on and they got the job done. It was different. Those 2 long travel games were a little bit tough. And I think it's tougher on us coaches, just not knowing, a little bit unsure of what how our kids will handle that situation. But like I said, these kids know how to turn it on and turn it off, and they turned it on when we got going and made things happen. And like I said, it's a special group. They've really come together and played well as a team these last 3 weeks. And like I said, I'm looking forward to getting into league play and seeing how they perform there.
So I have to ask you, because we haven't had a chance to sit down and talk. The university game, I believe it was the 4th quarter. A little dump out pass to Shane Lindstrom on the right side, and all of a sudden he just jumps up like a ninja turtle over top of a defender, a front flip. He called it a tuck. I call it a flip.
Well, he called it, I don't know what he called it, a Russian or Romanian something. I don't know. Whatever. He could have made that up too, so I'm not sure.
Well, what was your reaction? Because I saw you. I don't know if you were arguing with the officials, but you came out to kind of question what was going on. What was your reaction to that play?
You saw it and you weren't sure what you saw. I mean, it all happened so quick, and they threw a flag. They called for hurdling, which it wasn't a hurdle, and I tried to explain that to the officials. But it was a play. He stuck the landing and kept on going. It was really, like I said, we didn't know. It was just like, did that just really happen? It's one of those what just happened, and then did it really happen? And then I had to argue with the officials because I said, whether he did it or not, you got to let the play stand, because, you're not going to see it again. I mean, it was remarkable. And, but Shane's a remarkable young man and a great athlete all around. And what he did was just, like I said, unbelievable. And, I got to go back and listen to your broadcast of it. And that was fun too. I enjoyed that. And, even their coach said, come on, give the kid a break. So everybody was on his side, but we made up the difference. They was still giving us a first down. We just had to move it back, and we ended up getting in, I think we ended up getting in on that drive. But just a remarkable play. And then he gets called for hurdling against Kansas Central, also hurdling a player, and that player was actually on the ground. So actually, it should have been called, but. The officials, they watch film too, and they saw that what he did last week, and the guy on our sideline said, he should know by now that he can't do that. So, but there's 2 different situations, and I really feel that, by the rule and the laws, yes, it was an illegal hurdle, I guess, or whatever. And I thought last week the guy was on the ground, so I thought it was legal, but who knows? And he's going to make things happen, and it was fun. It was, like I said, remarkable and unbelievable at the same time. And but doesn't surprise me. Shane will do that.
So help me out here with the rule, because is it if somebody's on the ground, you're allowed to jump over them,
yes,
but if they're attempting a tackle, you can't. You can't,
right? And I know, and that's what I was last week. At Kansas Central, I was telling the official, I said, all these rules are for the safety of the kids. So if a guy goes low on you to tackle you, you have a chance of the injury or whatever else, a twisted ankle or whatever, anything could happen. So of course you're going to jump or move or sidestep. That's for the safety of the kid. That's for the safety of the receiver or the running back or the person with the ball. So I don't think that they're interpreting the rule correctly. I think if you're getting out of harm's way. Now, yes, when he did the front flip, that might have been because the guy was actually standing up. but this one, I think that, with the way the rule is stated, I think that if somebody attempts to go down low on you, you have the chance to go up high. So, to reduce the risk of injury, I really feel. And I don't know. We'll have to deal with it again, I'm sure. So he did it today in practice, and I yelled at him, said, "You're not allowed to do that." He just laughed at me. So
have you ever seen the flip before in practice?
No. Well, I've seen him do flips in practice. I've seen him do handstands. I've seen him do unbelievable things all the time. I've been around for a long time. You know that. And when he was a peewee and we had youth camp, he scored and did a backflip at youth camp, and that's when he was in third grade or fourth grade or whatever. So, no, nothing surprised me with him. And like I said, he's a remarkable athlete and a great gymnast and a great football player. So we'll take him on our team. We'll just make things happen. And, if we get penalized, we get penalized, and we'll learn and keep on going.
He's all that and an even better young man. Insanity is living large in South Range right now. Let's talk about, we're getting into conference play here this week, Coach. This is a gauntlet. Everybody talks about the NE8. Still one of the best conferences, I think, in all of Ohio. When you think about it, prepares you and the other 7 teams very well for the playoffs, and we've seen that. We've seen that each and every year. What do you even have to get your guys up for this week, or they know they're going into NE8 play and you buckle the chin strap a little bit tighter?
Well, yeah, you have to talk about that. It's league play. To me, and I told the kids today before practice, I said, one of the most important things to me as a coach, and it should be you guys as players, is to win the league. That should be your drive, is to win the NE8. When we were back in the ICL and the ITCL, it was a chance to win the league, and that's what really hurt when we were independent for a couple of years. We didn't have a league to fight for, or a league title to fight for, and that was tough. And we got into the NE8 and finished second that first year in there, and then won the last couple. But the target gets bigger and bigger on our back, and we know that. And we're going to get everybody's best game because they want to knock us off, I'm sure. And we're going to fight. We're going to give it everything we have. It's league play, which is very, very important. You talk to any college coach. Go talk to Coach Tressel. He'll tell you there's nothing more important than winning the Big Ten. You talk to anybody winning the SEC, and that's what they fight for. Because anything that happens after that will happen. But the most important thing is to try to win that league title. And we got Struthers first. We're not looking down the road, because Struthers is very talented and very well coached. Coach Beck does a great job, and he's getting those kids ready to play. And he has talent, lots of talent, and we got to come ready to play. We got to play our best game offensively and defensively, and even special teams, because they've shown they're very explosive special team wise too.
And I think that's one of the biggest keys. We saw against Canton Central Catholic, special teams kind of got out of hand a little bit. They had some speed on their team, and they were able to break a couple. Luckily, we had guys back to make the stops. However, it's not always going to be like that. And you're playing a very fast team this week in Struthers. Everybody knows it. You guys have played Struthers a handful of times, in the league already since the beginning of the league. But I think the biggest thing for me, Coach, is when you look at the streak that's going on right now. You guys haven't watched a regular season game.
I don't know what
Tricky.
We got Struthers this week. That's the only streak I'm worried about.
Do the kids know? Is it the gorilla in the room, or do you guys talk about it, or is it just kind of keep your eyes focused down the road?
We haven't talked about it. We have it. It's not that mum's the word or anything like that. We haven't talked about it. And the main thing that we worry, we are a one game a week mentality. That's me. I'm not smart enough to think 2 weeks ahead or 3 weeks ahead. But the kids think that way. We got to worry about Struthers, because Struthers is first, and not worried about whatever else happens. We got to worry about Struthers, because we got, to be honest with you, today we got to worry more about ourselves. We got to worry about taking care of South Range and playing South Range football. And Struthers is, like I said, well coached. They got athletes. They can explode anytime. I mean, saw against Streetsboro, up and down the field, right and left, and very, very. It's crazy. And I saw them against Geneva. They can explode any moment and score any moment. And we got to make sure we're playing sound defense and offensively, we got to make sure we don't make mistakes. Because again, there's speeds on that side of the ball too, and people don't think of it like that. But those fast kids are running all over the place and very athletic. They're very athletic also.
One of the things that I've seen, at least on my side, and you can tell me if I'm crazy, but
never tell you you're crazy.
you trotting out Luke Starkey for some long distance kicks. I mean, to have confidence in a kicker like that, it's nice to have. And he hasn't made them all, but he's drilled a couple of them. So for you, is that just trying to get a great opportunity for him to see people rushing and blitzing and stuff like that aren't necessarily his own guys in practice?
It's important that kick is going to be very important someday, and we all know that. And you just go ahead and you get an opportunity, you go ahead and try that opportunity. Didn't really affect any games so far. It really wasn't an influence on any game, so there really wasn't any pressure. But you got to work on it. Our snaps, our blocks, our holds. All those things, all those little pieces are very, very important. And we practice them a lot. We actually practiced extra point field goal today because we hadn't done it all week, and had to get him mentally back on track. And those were some long kicks. I mean, he made that 42-yarder against Springfield, which was awesome. And matter of fact, it tied the record, I think. And matter of fact, the old record was against Springfield. The one before that was against Springfield too. But we're gonna have to do some looking at that. But it was just he needed that, and he needs to know. I'm not sure he knows what his limitations are because they're way out there. He's a very good kicker, and I'm really happy that he's only a sophomore and we have him for a couple more years. But you always got to take that chance. And he's a great young man and a great athlete. And I had to step in and play some linebacker role here a couple weeks ago and did a super job there. And he's just, like I said, he's a football player. And whenever you can get a football player on the kickoff team, being the kicker and on extra point team and field goal team, he's a football player that kicks. And like I said, he's pretty good at it. Glad he's on our team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one of those things where for a kicker, it's almost like confidence in baseball, getting hits, right? When you go down swinging, it's kind of in your head a little bit. So not that we're worried at all. I just think it's great that you continue to have confidence in the young man and trot him out there and say, hey, we got it. If you get it, great. If you don't, we know where we're at.
Right. And, it's, like I said, it's going to be important someday. And I know he'll make it. I have all the confidence in the world in him, and the kids do too. And, he's going to open some eyes here in the future. And, looking forward to that moment because I know that he'll make things happen for us.
One of the things I want to take you back to is University School. They had some big receivers, and it was in the game. I remember they were down near the goal line, and a goal line stand happened. When you look at Aiden Leone, who doesn't get a whole lot of press clippings or doesn't get a whole lot of really anything yet. He's kind of that secret weapon you have. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But he played an unbelievable defensive series where he lined up, strong on strong, and he walked away the big man on campus, so to speak, at University School. Did you guys see that kind of leverage that they were having with the big receivers and line him up specifically?
We know. I mean, that's Coach Rock does a great job with our defense, and he got people in the right places at the right time. That week, that's where we needed him, and he stepped in and played. He's a great receiver for us. Everybody knows Aiden's a great receiver and could run very well, and had a couple nice kick returns also. He's been doing a little bit of everything. Against University, we needed him out there just to go one-on-one with their couple of big receivers, and he performed well. I mean, we have we played a lot of people in that university game. There's a lot of names going in and out, a lot of kids going in and out, and he was one of them. And like I said, he was at the right place, the right time, what we needed. You go back to Kansas Central Catholic, you saw him playing as a defensive end. Well, why there? Well, that's where we needed him then. And he's been jumping around because he's a great athlete, and offensively, it's set in stone where he's at. We all know where he lines up offensively, and defensively, we're using his talents wherever we can. And we needed a couple breaks, we needed a couple little things here or there. It's nice getting him on one side and JD on the other side as two defensive ends. Those are two nice tall bookends that you have running in there, and that's what we needed, because guess what? Their quarterback was tall and long, and we had to get body on body as much as we can. And it was fun. I mean, he's a, like I said, a wonderful young man and a great athlete, and just he can play multiple places because he is so good, and so good with his hands and so good with his feet, and again, very athletic.
Two of the youngsters I've been really impressed with, Tristan Toy and Brady Crumbacher, who have been excellent and seemingly everywhere that they're needed, especially on defense. When you look at the youngsters that are coming up, everybody focuses on the billion seniors that you have this year. But you've got some great talent coming up through the ranks and learning the right way to do things in the Raider way to do things through your seniors. I mean, talk about some of the younger guys that you have and how fast they're growing and maturing this year.
Brady, we'll start with Brady. Brady's getting better and better every week. He got a lot of playing time last year, just spot playing defensively, a little bit offensively, and this year, he's really done a great job defensively for us. Playing the corner position and making things happen. He's a technician. He understands what he has to do. He gets his body turned in the right direction depending on what we're doing defensively, and locks down those receivers, breaks very well on the ball, does a lot of different things, even long snaps on punts. So it does a whole bunch of different things, and and even offensively, when we need a receiver, he's quick to go in and does a great job catching the ball too. But very athletic, moves very well coached, and listens all the time. That's the main thing. These young guys, it's awesome seeing a young guy listening and trying to learn even when they're not in. So many times you miss that because kids are kids, but Brady and Tristan both are always listening, always trying to figure out what's going on, always trying to get better. They're not on offense, they're on defense. They're always in play at practice and always trying to get better. Tristan has just done wonders for us. We were unsure Sam linebacker place. We're trying to find almost like a nickel back that can play defensive back and also linebacker, step into the gap, step into the hole, step into the box, and play well. And Tristan's done super at that. I mean, he's again very athletic. Both those guys, Brady and Tristan, their dads are on my staff. They're both great players. They were both great players at South Range, and both very good coaches also. And I know they talk football when they get home too, but it's nice having that relationship, and they understand what's important even when they're not in. Tristan, like I said, just has done a great job playing that outside linebacker position, and tackles well, runs well, understands the game. Been around the game for a long, long time. Both of them have been, and Tristan breaks on the ball and gets people in the right position and sets our defensive front. Just he does it all, and does, like I said, just been doing super all year. And he's also, doing a great job at quarterback, very good quarterback also. So we're going to see those guys for, next couple of years, and looking forward to having them too, because they're both great athletes and, again, great young men.
It's the Joe Dickey Electric Coaches Corner, brought to you by our friends over at Joe Dickey Electric with Dan Yeagley. One last question, Coach, before I let you go. Naturally, you are a motivational extraordinaire. Whenever I'm down, all it takes is one text message to Coach Yeagley, and my day is made. So my question is, what motivates you?
You know, this is tough. I mean, what motivates me? Football wise, it's the kids. I mean, it's the kids and the watching the unity of the young men as they coming together as a team. What more motivating nothing can be more motivating than that, seeing a group of young men come together as a team. And and I surround myself with great people, and I know I say it a lot, but I really do mean it. I got a great staff. We're always trying to improve each other. We're always trying to make each other better. I have a defensive staff and an offensive staff, but guess what? We communicate very well together because we're trying to make each other better. I don't. You turn on the lights on Friday night. There's nothing better. I mean, you start going out and warming up. There's nothing better. If you can't get motivated just by that, then you don't understand. South Range football is very special, and it's home. It really is. And you walk out on that field, and those lights are on, and the crowd's there, and the band's playing. There's nothing more exciting or motivating than that. It's home. Home is very motivating, and home being South Range is very, very motivating. And I love it here. I can't imagine being anyplace else. And I just, like I said, I love the kids. I love the community. I love the program. I love my assistant coaches. And we get out there and play football, and I get goosebumps every day still, and I get excited about that. And that's what motivates me every day is a chance to go spend some time with these young men and my coaches and play the greatest game in the world, the game of football. Especially
as always, just an honor and a pleasure to hang out, Coach. I wish that at some point people could have the relationship that we do, that I share with you. It means the world to me. It means that it's just awesome to hang out with you. I know these are long for some people, but I know thousands and thousands of people that watch these and just wish that they could get 5 minutes of your time the way that I do. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. And I'm sitting there at Canton Central Catholic, and here Gus Valentine's dad, Scott. I don't know if you know him, but he was on my 96 team. Yeah, we're going all the way back to the 90s. But and all of a sudden, it's fantasy football weekend for him and a lot of the players that he still gets that played on that 96 team. And Pat Hardwick came into town from Boston. So these guys all come in from out of town. But you know what? They never miss a game. They all these guys come in and spend time a little bit together as friends and pick their fantasy drafts and whatever else. But they made time to come on Friday night to watch the game, and it was great seeing them there. And that's special. When all of a sudden you get these players able to come back into town and watch a game in live, because I know every Friday night they're watching it with you, and you make this special. We talk about that I talked to the kids Saturday morning about that 96 team, how it turned things around. That group of young men changed. My first year we were 4-6. Struggled a little bit, played a lot of those guys as juniors and even some sophomores. And that next year we went on a roll. We ended up 11-1. Made it to the regional finals because only 4 teams got in at that point, and got beat by Avon, believe it or not. Yeah. And it was just they made a commitment to each other, and they made a commitment to the program to raise this program to the next level. And hats off to them, because they really made it. They were the start of what it is now, and got it going. Saying, you guess what? This is where we want to be. This is the level of South Range football that we want to make an impact from here on out. And the next group got it going, and the next group got it going. And guess what? Success breeds success, and they got it going. And, it's great that you provide a platform for them to be able to still watch South Range Raider football. And thank you, DJ. Love you to death, and thank you so much. And thank you for putting this YSN together and making it special. So all these past players and everybody else can still watch, South Range Raider football.
You're the man, Coach. Take us home.
You are.
Take us home. Get us out of here.
Thank you again, DJ. And, I got to give a shout out to Dickey Electric also, because they've been a big supporter of ours for a long, long time. And I want to thank them. And again, YSN and you and everybody else. Again, thank you so much. Looking forward to the next week, and go Raiders.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Wrs Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Hi, I want to tell you about my Trish Yearwood home collection available at Sheely's Furniture. With 2 locations serving Ohio and Pennsylvania, Sheely's is one of the country's top sellers of my home collection. And the best part? At Sheely's, you never have to wait for a sale. They offer everyday low pricing as well as a price match guarantee, so you can shop the Trish Yearwood home collection with confidence. Come see my collection with something to offer for every room in your home and get it all with free local delivery, only at Sheely's Furniture.
And welcome back. You usually helps when you turn the mute button off on your microphone. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the YSN Power Hour. Thanks again to Coach Dan Yeagley of the South Range Raiders for spending some time with us. And I can chop it up with him all night. What you don't see is the 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after that we spend talking with each other and kind of catching up, because the craziest, busiest man in the world resides, I think he's in Columbiana now with his lovely wife, Kelly. But he is always on the go. Like, after he talked to me late at night last night, after I got back from a volleyball game, he still was looking at film and strategizing and things of that nature. So people don't realize how much these coaches do in today's day and age. It as much as the technology has advanced, and they'll tell you that there's a lot of the legwork, so to speak, that's been taken out of the preparation and things of that nature. It just gives them the opportunity to fill those hours that they gained back up with studying and trying to find things of, little pieces, little nuggets of information that give them any type of advantage on a Friday night or on game day in whatever case it may be. So if you're out there and you're going to criticize coaches, make sure that you're willing to do your due diligence and understand where they're really coming from and how much they have invested, not only from their personal lives, but excuse me, let's flip that around. Not only from their professional lives, but their personal lives, what they're giving up to spend time with their husband, their wife, their family, their kids, whatever it may be, and work on top of that. So again, I want to always say thank you to all the great coaches, the players that take time and 10, 15 minutes here and there. And sometimes you get 25, 30 minutes like you do with Coach Yeagley and I, but we've been doing this for 6 years, 6 seasons here on YSN. And that was the first ever Coach's Corner. And, I don't know what I would do And I'm not going to get overly sentimental. I don't know what I would do if I couldn't talk to Coach Yeagley, just in general, let alone Coach's Corner. So thanks again, Coach. Let's talk. I mean, we have to talk this, right? The power rankings came out on Monday earlier this week, and this is where they stand for week 3. Canfield 3-0 at the top of the charts again. Austintown Fitch nipping at their heels, 3-0 at number 2. South Range makes a jump right back into the 3 slot from number 4. Ursuline sits at the 4 spot. A lot of people a little bit, I don't want to say irritated. I don't think they're giving Farrell enough credit, and certainly not giving Ursuline respect on their name, as they say, with a big win, back and forth battle to get the win over Farrell. So they dropped from the 3 to the 4. Cheney stays stable at number 5. Warren JFK at 6. Salem at 7. Number 8 is Girard at 3-0. Lowellville also 3-0. And the only team with a loss comes in at number 10. It's 2-1 West Branch, who dropped somehow from 9 to 10. Lowellville must be really impressing people, and that's no doubt. Vinny Ballone has been legit. I mean, he is all across the board one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country. Not state, country. And when you look at it, he's ranked in the top in Division 7. Kid's got 18 touchdowns total, I believe. I don't want to shortchange him. I'm pretty sure that's right. 16 passing, 2 rushing. Just absolutely blowing up numbers. And Lowellville is putting themselves certainly on the map to be one of the best teams in Division 7 as we continue to keep the eye out for it. West Branch, it's interesting to me that West Branch, people just continue to doubt West Branch week in, week out. They have that tough loss to Canfield in week 1. Since then, they have absolutely rolled their opponents. In week 4, I think they're going to be okay again. I think Canfield is able to get a win. I think what's going to be interesting is the matchup between Ursuline and Fitch. The 2 and the 4 going head to head. If South Range beats Struthers, and let's say Fitch, as they did last year, comes up short against Ursuline, which I still, guys, tomorrow, I'm a game time decision on this game. I don't know who's going to win this game. This might be the best game in all of Ohio tomorrow night, and there's a lot of good ones. If Fitch loses to Ursuline, does Ursuline hop South Range? If it's a close game and Fitch wins, they would obviously stay in the 2 spot. Does Ursuline move up to the 3 spot? There's a lot of shifting, I think, that's going to go on. And then, of course, you got next week, Cheney and Canfield. So Cheney potentially at 5 this week, let's say they're 5 next week, they could roll right up the charts. Excuse me. I think there's people that would vote Cheney number 1. In fact, I know there are. If Cheney's number 1, if Cheney beats the number 1, do they become the number 1? Or do you put Fitch at number 1, maybe Cheney at number 2, and then so on and so forth? That's what makes this power ranking discussion always so interesting, because there's no just one way to slice it up. Everybody has their own kind of intellect on who they think is good. Cheney has been stable at 5, Warren JFK at 6. There's a lot of people that don't know what to do with Salem right now. There's a lot of people that don't know they're still kind of sour over Salem and Crestview in week 1. Our voters are kind of like trying to figure out who the Quakers are, and Jackson Johnson just continues to ball out with his teammates and sitting at 3-0. It's not going to be like this forever. 1 through 9 is not always going to be undefeated. It's going to get real cloudy real soon, and that's when, hang on. That's when the conversations will take place. So when you're talking about South Range, you're talking about a team that has not lost a game since 2019 in the regular season. We talked to Coach Yeagley about the streak. He says he knows nothing about it. Obviously, that's tongue in cheek. They don't talk about it. But I think every player on that roster knows that there's certainly a shadow lurking over top of them in that streak. And everybody wants to end the South Range winning streak in the regular season. Make no mistake about it. Struther's well aware with Coach Bayek that South Range has not lost a game since they lost to Niles in 2019. Prior to the NE8 even being official. That's an amazing feat. An amazing feat. And one that I'm really interested in. I'm trying to get this to shift. It's not shifting for me. So we're just gonna get out of it. But yeah, when you talk about these power rankings, to me, it's always interesting from a standpoint of how the voters vote, how people are going to react. I mean, we heard about there was one comment that there's nobody in Ohio or that Ursuline will play that will be faster or as fast as Farrell. And I can disagree with that. Because I'm going to argue that, with all due respect to Farrell, Austintown Fitch is going to be faster, bigger, and stronger than the Farrell Steelers this year. I think Ursuline has had their hands full all season. I'm really liking what they're putting together over with the Irish. I'm interested from our standpoint, just as a spectator, this game is going to clarify a lot of things, and it could muck up a ton of things for who we thought these two teams were. This game last year, I remember it vividly at Falcon Stadium. It was down to the final field goal that Fitch went for. It was blocked, and Ursuline's running off the field. And really, what that did, in my personal opinion, was it propelled them into the state championship game. When you go toe-to-toe with a team such as Fitch, and no matter what their record is, when you go toe-to-toe with them and you're throwing haymakers back and forth, that gives you a lot of confidence. At that time, the Division IV level, Ursuline Irish, moving forward. You're playing a D2 team. You're beating a D2 team. You can hang with anybody. And the Irish were minutes away from a state championship. And we all know what happened there, unfortunately for our Irish. But is this Fitch's year? Is this Fitch team that good? When we came into the season, they were ranked 10th on our power rankings, and people were calling us crazy, saying Fitch is the best team in the area. And they might be right. They might be right. Based on Austintown Fitch being in D2, a little bigger, more kids. But the some of the comments, and obviously there's a lot of bias in it, and I'm okay with that because that's why we're allowed to have opinions. That's why sports is so fun, because you can have these debates. But the reality is, sitting there and saying, well, this team's going to slap this team around and this team can just absolutely pummel it. You don't know that. We won't know that unless they play. You play to win the game. Some of these teams will never play. Some of these teams will never play. They'll never see each other in the same stadium unless one of them's watching. There's a potential. Let's look at this one more time. There's a potential. Canfield can get it done. Fitch can get it done. South Range can get it done. Ursuline and Canfield will have to cross paths in the playoffs at some point. Same thing with Cheney. JFK. Some are saying this is the best JFK team we've seen in years. I think it remains to be seen. I'm not calling out JFK. I think it remains to be seen, because that just tells me, again, this is a historic, traditional program that has absolutely put out some bell cows in the last few years. Michael Morrow, Cam Hollabaugh, Eddie Kiernan, Likens, Jesse Likens. The list goes on and on and on and on. I mean, absolute studs. And they're saying that this team potentially could be the best team that Warren JFK has put out since 2016. That is saying something. So you put them in, they could go. They could win a state title. Salem, they're going to have their work cut out for them, but if Jackson Johnson keeps turning it on and shows me exactly what I called before the season, this kid is writing his own story at this point. Salem could get it done. Girard, they have a big, big matchup with Jefferson. This week is going to tell us exactly who Girard is. This week is going to tell us who Jefferson is. Jefferson, we talked about it with Coach Hannah. A team that got it done in the non-conference schedule last year and then kind of stumbled through the NE8, stumbled through their conference play. Louisville, an opportunity, a showdown with Springfield to get the monkey off their back, to stand up out of the shadows. This is a team that has the opportunity to walk into the light and show everybody exactly who they are. But Springfield, I got to be honest, their cage has got to be rattled from a standpoint of not scared, a standpoint of they've got to be playing a little bit geeked off. They got to be a little bit hacked because they've played 3 straight weeks of 3 good teams. South Range, Brookfield, Geneva. 3 really good teams, powerhouse teams that expect to be there at the end of the day. I'm telling you, Sean Guerrero will have his team ready. What does that mean? I don't know. But the preparation that Coach Gorilla puts into it is second to none. Colton Rourke could be a coming out party for him. Could be an absolute bonanza for Shondell Gardner. Or the other side, Vinny Ballone goes off again. The leader in touchdowns in the entire state of Ohio could go bananas. Yet again, stand tall, pound his chest, and say, I've been waiting 4 years for this. This is a huge matchup. We have huge matchups on the network this week. You talk about Beaver Local and Liverpool. My goodness, the game. Austin Klein was on running point earlier, as was Mason Ludwig. Games don't get much bigger than the ones we're going to see this week. You'll see a few of them throughout the rest of the season, but for some reason, week 4 is the week. Everybody's circled on the calendar until we get to week 10 and you see Salem against West Branch. I'm really interested, really, really interested to see how this goes. The power rankings out last week. They're starting to make a little bit more sense now. You know, that preseason, you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. And people will say, you don't know football. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know this from a hole in the ground. Okay. But we can make adjustments every week. And the power rankings aren't necessarily this team will beat this team. This is the best team right now in this slot, considering we have over 60 teams to choose from. Being in the top 10, not a bad thing. Being number 10 of 65, not exactly a slap in the face. Now, it would be more interesting, although it would be a nightmare to do all 65 teams and rank them. No thanks. No thanks. 10's enough for me. 10 is enough for me. Who should be in your power rankings? Who's not in there that should be in there? I mean, there's a bunch of teams. Niles was in there at one point. If Struthers wins against South Range, do they automatically catapult into the top 10? Can Girard stay in the top 10 with a win? Of course. With a loss? Or does Jefferson get that bid? Now, we got a lot to talk about coming up over the weekend. Tomorrow, don't forget, The Power Hour Super Show is going to be right here 3 to 4 on the network. We will run down all the games and make our selections. You don't want to miss that because naturally, well, we're where you get the information. Naturally, we have the most information in the entire valley and your things to look for. We got the guys that are in the booth calling the game, making these picks, and it's always interesting because you can get some swerves. We try to get these guys to pick these games before, and you get some swerves last minute. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on the Power Hour Super Show. I just like saying Super Show. It's time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark? Presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, anything that sparks. You need to get over to DickeyElectric.com and tell my buddy Eric Carlson that YSN sent you. I saw a Dickey Electric van on my way home yesterday. Yelled out, shouted out, said, Dickey Electric, let's go! I got the fist pump right out the window. Love it. When I see them, those white vans, I'm calling them out all the time. Let's go. It's spark time. The Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark? Once again, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Thank you, Mr. Carlson. Today it is, again, just football is back. I cannot wait. Check your fantasy lineups tonight, folks. Don't forget the Bills and the Rams play tonight. Make sure your starters are in. That is the number one absolute pet peeve of fantasy football is people week one forget the Thursday night game and start out and like your starting quarterback. If you've got Matthew Stafford or if you have Josh Allen, make sure they're starting. Otherwise, you're probably not going to win this week, which means you're probably not going to win your championship, which means you're probably just making a general donation to your friends and an embarrassment to yourself. So with that being said, enjoy night one of football. Make sure you tune in to Channel 21 WFMJ for all of the action tonight. Bills versus the Rams, as the Rams, I'm sure, will be raising the banner as they are Super Bowl champions, at least for the next 17, 20 weeks, something like that. So enjoy it. Welcome back, football. We will see you tomorrow with all kinds of local football and all the expertise that you need here on the network. My name's DJ. It's been an honor hanging out with you today. Can't wait to do it again tomorrow. See you later. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation